Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at Injora comp pins. This is their S4 compound tire, coming in at about 4.72 height and 1.5 inch wide, I believe. A little bit narrower tire than a normal class 2, but it is a comp pin, so that's to be expected. And inside of the Injora comp pins, I am running Injora silicone inserts. I'm running green up front and blue in rear. And I believe I've discovered on this truck green is just too soft. I would rather be running blues all around, I think. But I'm not, so we're going to have to deal with possibly the front tires collapsing more than I want them to. It is pretty early in the morning. About 7:30. I'm out here on my second day of tire testing weekend. But yesterday ended up being a really nice day, but there had been a call for rain that we didn't get. But today it's saying that there is about an 80% chance of thunderstorms later on this morning. The sky doesn't look bad, but we're gonna go based off of that. We're gonna get some weather later, so I'm trying to get an early start to the day, because we might have to pause for a couple hours if we get a lot of rain. Comp pins on the side hill, a little bit of side slide. That front tire certainly is collapsing quite a bit due to that green insert. That's not going to be the fault of the tire, that's the insert. I do have some other blues with me. They're currently mounted on other tires. We're going to see how the comp pins do with what we've got, but there's a chance that I will go pull a set of blues out and put them in here and redo this. So, kind of a mini side note, if you're looking at the Injora silicone inserts, if you have a rig that's 7 pounds, I would say even probably heavier than 6 pounds, don't mess with the greens, just go straight to the blues. These silicone inserts from Injora, they tend to soften up as you drive them. And the greens are already very soft, but then they get even softer the more you drive them, and we're getting a lot of collapse on those front tires. Still able to do the side hill pretty well, but I'm having to do kind of feather the steering angle and stuff because of those front inserts collapsing. That driver side front insert has been collapsing this entire time. Now we're going to switch over, and the passenger side is going to probably start collapsing a lot. So just kind of a note of the insert. That really doesn't have anything to do with the tire, but it is going to affect the side hill performance quite a bit. I think I'm going to be able to take it slowly here and hopefully not deal with any rollouts. But one thing we'll have to keep in mind through the review of these is that I have chosen poorly on the insert for the front tires. I think that we're going to have some issues with the tires collapsing too much as we come down steep obstacles. We have an obstacle later where we come down 2 pretty steep inclines. I think we might have some issues there. There were a few, not really issues, but I noticed it coming on to the course from the entrance. We kind of nosedived more, and that front insert had completely flattened out when that happened. So I have to try to keep that in mind as we review these tires and make sure that we're not blaming the tire for insert performance. But comp pin's doing well on the side hill, despite the green insert in front. Really no issues. As with any pin tire, we dealt with a little bit of side sliding, but nothing crazy. Nothing that the comp pins weren't able to handle. Coming up on wet or dry, as we discovered yesterday, our normal obstacle is quite a ways underwater. So we're having to just kind of get the tires wet here. But I am noticing this morning, the lake is lower than it was yesterday. Not significantly yet, but it is lower. So I think they must have opened the dam. We'll see how that changes things throughout the day, if it does. Still able to get the tires wet here. The silicone inserts, I don't have to worry about drying out foams after this, so that'll be nice. Comp pin's picking up a little mud, so we'll see how they perform in the wet. So far, wet performance is good. No extremely difficult lines there, but where we just came up is a very slick rock. So tires that don't grip well will usually still get up that, but they'll require wheel speed. Injora comp pins are only about $25 for a set. That is a set of 4 tires. And I think that's going to be a big thing to note with a lot of Injora tires, the more recent releases from Injora. I don't think any of them are going to be like, just blow you away, this is the best tire you've ever driven. But I think they've made some good headway with the quality of their tires back from the days when they were just releasing Hyrax copies. And for the prices that they're coming in, they're pretty good. Anything in S3 or above compound typically is not bad. Again, the comp pins are their S4 compound, which they don't have enough tires in S4 in my opinion. S4 is not an extremely thin carcass, but it's not a thick carcass either. It's kind of that perfect balance. S3 is definitely more of a trail tire. S5 is definitely more of like a very thin, very sticky, like Predator compound, if you will. S4, I think, is gonna kind of be the compound that is the most universally well performing. Comp pin's getting very dirty with being wet, and they are not liking being dirty. Having a lot of issues pulling up on this obstacle, as we've seen with a lot of tires lately. You can see the discoloration in the rock where it's kind of white versus red on camera. That white area is where we have been getting onto the obstacle. It's really scrubbed a lot of the loose sand off that you get with sandstone. It's actually pretty slick now, so it has made this obstacle much more challenging. That is compounded by the fact that the tires are wet and now often dirty. So this has turned into more of a bump on for every tire and testing how predictably that tire bumps. But that's not really originally what this obstacle was intended for, and I'm getting to the point to where I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on it and rebuild it a little bit, because it can kind of test the bump, but there's not really a straight way to bump onto it. And so it's not the best for testing that, because you're going to get just a lot of tires that will randomly shoot off in one direction or another. And a lot of that is because I'm not able to just bump on straight. Like, we're coming at it from an angle. We're going to pause and reset a few things here. So this is going to be another time where throughout the course of a review, I'm going to be modifying the course for an obstacle and trying to make it a little more usable as things have changed. But I'm trying to do so without just making it easy. So we're going to see how this does. Still gives me that good lip that I want to pull onto. Originally, this obstacle was meant to just test the ability of a tire to pull up on a ledge, and it looks like maybe I'll be able to do that again here. This might work out. I want this to be too easy. I don't really want to... Okay, that's still got a lip. This might be valid. Comp pin's very loaded up now. We have very little traction. not able to grab there. Okay. We're going to see how valid that is going forward. I'm not sure if that is still going to be challenging enough or if the comp pins are just giving us issues right now because they're so dirty. So we'll keep driving. We'll figure it out as we go. But the comp pins are not appearing to like being dirty very much. Yeah, a lot of side slide getting off on that side hill. We'll see, do we still have good steering? Yeah, steering is good. Sometimes what you see with tires like this that are really performance oriented is the forward drive will outdrive the tire's ability to steer. Not seeing that happen with the comp pins. We're still able to position the rig right where we want to go. It drives predictably. And those are all good things. This way. Very nice and still this morning. The sun is definitely coming up behind some clouds, so a little bit of a lot of side sliding here. These definitely are heavily affected being dirty. And what we're dealing with now is the dirt out here. When it gets wet and gets stuck to a tire, it sticks to a tire pretty well. Like, it takes some time for them to scrub off and clean up. So, and the dirt on the tires is still wet. And so as we drive, we just pick up more dirt. They haven't dried off yet completely. Because of that, and that is still impacting our performance, I believe. But as I was saying, sun is coming up behind some cloud cover. The high today is only going to be in the mid 60s. Right now, it's about 55 degrees. So temperature-wise, we're in pretty good conditions for rock crawling. But the conditions are not going to help our tires dry out quicker. Every bit, we show some promise pulling up, and then we fall back. There we go. Ooh, no. Okay, if I keep going, I believe that we're just going to fall off. Let me see if I can reposition the camera. Oh, that's gonna... I don't think I can back out of this, and I don't think I can pull out of this. I'm gonna go reset the rig because I don't see the point in falling off the obstacle when I know that that's the only option. So let's just make it do the whole thing again. There we go. We got too far right last time. Yeah. There we go. And this is kind of where, when I was talking earlier, I think I said that I think the green inserts might affect some of our obstacles. This is one of them. I think that we're going to see too much collapse on those front tires when we start putting weight on them, and it's going to cause it to cartwheel. A lot of collapse happening on that front passenger. don't have a good way to record that and drive at the same time. Sometimes I need another person out here. Front passenger's completely collapsed. What we want now is for the rear tires to just slowly let us slide forward. No throttle input at all. That's good. Preventing a cartwheel there. Can we do it again? Ooh. We're able to catch it. That's not too bad. Still would like to have a little more support on those front tires. Definitely allowing them to collapse a lot, but it didn't end up causing anything too detrimental. And coming up now to probably what is our most difficult obstacle. We'll see how the comp pins do. Having some trouble with the rear out pushing the front right now. See if this obstacle can help clear off our tires a little bit. Get rid of some of that dirt that's packed in there. Bottom of the obstacle once again is washed out. We're gonna figure out something different for this bottom real quick. Okay, just a slight rework there on the rocks as we come onto the obstacle to hopefully keep them from sliding out as often. S4 comp pins having a little bit of issues getting up onto the rock. Quite a bit of bounce coming from those rear silicone inserts, which is the part of 3D inserts that I don't like. They're able to hold their position on the rock until it starts bouncing, but we don't have enough forward drive to pull up. I think we're going to have to resort to wheel speed. What I was hoping would happen at least is that we would kind of scrub those tires clean. But man, that mud sticks in there. Oop. We might be able to drive straight up it with wheel speed if I can control the direction. And this is the line that we normally have to take, is come over here to the right side and use normally side lug to help get us up the rock. Comp pins have no side lug, so we're just using side wall. And what we've seen with a few tires recently has been they get over here, but then they struggle actually pulling up the rock. We don't have enough forward drive to actually pull us up, or enough steering to get us the right grip on the side of that rock. Comp pin's not doing well right now. Undoubtedly, this is going to be impacted by the fact that we have no actual side lug, so we're trying to use a smooth sidewall to pull us up the rock. It's not happening. More wheel speed's going to create more bounce. I don't think that's going to be the solution. I think wheel speed would technically get us up this, but we lose some control over direction once we start going up. And this rock's, fairly narrow for what I'm trying to do. Never had a tire do that. That's both impressive and unimpressive at the same time. Okay. That's going to be a failure. Comp pin's not able to do it. Honestly, comp pin's struggling more than I thought they would, especially considering that we're on sandstone. No issues there. Rear diff hang up, barely hung up at all. Plenty of forward drive to pull that up and over. Let's see how the comp pins handle our big hill. No issues there. Able to drive right up. And then the driver does something stupid. And we're going to hope we didn't break anything. So getting off this obstacle, you kind of need wheel speed to clear the front links. So just now, I don't know if it was kind of noticeable on video, my driver's side rear tire, the bead lock was spinning inside the tire. I think I should have used maybe a narrower bead lock. These are Mias bead locks, I believe. Also, I will say, I've noticed that with these silicone inserts on a couple different things, but I think it's mostly with thinner tires. I think maybe you need a really narrow bead lock. It doesn't seem to be doing it now. Not sure if it was doing it earlier when we were on the obstacle that we failed. So, comp pins, I'm seeing enough today. I'm going to try some different things with comp pins. We're going to actually go to a foam. We're going to put Ot6 X4 web wraps in here. And we'll go to a narrower bead lock. And we'll run them again at some point. That's not going to happen this weekend. That's not going to definitely not happen today. Although I think I've got all the stuff with me that are, in other tires. I've got a lot of other stuff to test. And I just don't think I'll have time to get to it. But I think I'll do that for a future video because I'm not sure that the comp pins are getting a fully... God damn it. Hang on. Not sure the comp pins are getting a full, fair test. Yeah, that was good. Especially on that obstacle we failed. Although, I mean, I don't know that it'll make a difference. I'm not saying that I think that they should have done that. I mean, I thought they would do that. But there's been some weird stuff that has gone on with them. So we're going to probably do a retest at some point. Gravelly hill climb, handling that with no issues. Gravelly hill climb is back to being dry and slippery as it usually is. Yesterday morning, the ground was still pretty damp, and gravel hill climb was pretty well packed in and wasn't really a challenge for anything, but it is back to its normal conditions now. So, what do we think of Injora comp pins and their S4 compound? Well, I have mixed feelings about them. So let's talk about that now. On one hand, the comp pins only did not complete one obstacle. It was the most difficult obstacle of the course, and I have some question about whether they would be able to do it with different inserts, possibly different wheels, but I don't really think they will. I think we'll see that same issue regardless. As you can see, one issue with the comp pins is they get dirty and they load up and they don't clear out very well. This is kind of why I'm Still unsure about the water obstacle. But the other thing to say about the comp pins is they're $25 for a set. So for a $25 set of tires, they performed very, very well, performance-wise. However, you get no side lug. You get a pin tire that doesn't exactly look good. The tire's thin, so foams and inserts are going to be a little bit more picky on what you can put in there. The Injora silicone inserts seem to fit, but I don't know that they really pair that well with the comp pin. Again, I do think having blues up front would be a little bit more helpful. There's some issues here, but there's also some really good. The price for performance is really high, the value in this tire. And if you're okay running a pin tire that doesn't look like a real tire, I think they're a good option. I think they're worth continuing to look at. You can see there's quite a bit of feathering on the lug already. This is, again, S4 compound. I run on sandstone, so sandstone is gonna destroy these tires pretty quickly, I can tell you that. But we're gonna see them again. I've got a couple things I want to do to them to see if we can make them better. As of right now, I don't have strong feelings either way. I think the fact that they're $25 is a huge plus. If these were like $50 for a set, I would tell you it's not worth the hassle. But there's enough here to continue to look at them. I don't think that the insert matchup is what I want here. I don't even think I'll put blues up front. Like I said, I think I'm going to go to a X4 web wrap foam from '06, and we'll see what they do. So until next time, everybody, have a good one.